Good evening. I'd like to call the June 17, 2025 regular Planning Commission meeting to order. Please note this meeting is being hosted through live stream and on the city website by teleconference via Zoom. I'd like to remind the planning commissioners to have their microphones turned on in position so that the audience can hear. Director Monique, may we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Worth,
Here.
Commissioner Viramontes,
Here.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Chair Beamsterfer,
Here. Commissioner Hill, invocation and flag salute, please.
Do the invocation first.
Lord, we ask that you bless this meeting here tonight, this planning commission meeting tonight, and give us the wisdom to make the proper decisions and the best informed decisions for this city. In your name we pray, amen. Flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 4 is a public comment period for items not on the agenda. Are there any members of the public present that would like to comment on an item that is not on the agenda?
Chair Beamsterfer, I did not receive any request to speak forms or electronic comments.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we'll move on to Agenda 5A with the approval of the minutes from the meeting of May 20th, 2025. Does the commission have any comments or corrections?
I have no corrections and comments, but I'll recommend to approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of May 20, 2025.
I second.
Commissioners, please announce your vote. Commissioner Worth,
Aye.
Commissioner Viramontes,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer,
Yes.
and that motion passes 4-0.
Item 6A is Community Development Summary of Active Projects. And that will be with Deputy Director Emery Papp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, members of the public out this evening or watching on Zoom. Emery Papp, Deputy Director of Community Development, presenting for staff. Before I begin my presentation this evening, the staff report indicated that there would be multiple parts, commercial, industrial, mixed use, and residential. My presentation this evening will not include the residential component of that. We'll conclude that part at our next hearing. So this presentation is in alignment with strategic plan goal number 3 for community engagement to provide transparency and information to the public. And I did want to point out that this presentation is an informational item only, and that the summary of the information this evening regards the significant projects that are in process right now and may be coming before you in the future at a public hearing. So it would be improper at this time to engage in any lengthy discussion or any sort of comments regarding whether or not you might be in favor or opposed to the project. So the first project I'm going to go over this evening is a proposed addition to an existing church. Here's what the existing facility looks like from Latham Avenue. Here's a site plan that shows a proposal to wrap an L-shaped portion around the existing structure with the proposed elevations for the site. This has been in process for a while. We hope to bring this forward to you very soon. The next is the La Perla Market, located at 871 East Florida Avenue. This is a request for an existing Type 20 ABC license to upgrade to a Type 21 that allows for the off-sale consumption of beer, wine, and spirits. This is the proposed floor plan. We're still working with the applicant. They will be providing us additional detail as to where the liquor and spirits will be located on the floor plan and whether or not that needs to be in any kind of specific protective case. The next one is a site development review for My City Youth, located at 145 North Tockwitz Avenue. Here's what the property looks like from Tockwitz in the front and at the rear of the property. They have actually already added classroom space, and this is part of their entitlement application, is to include that. And then here's a site plan that shows the location, proposed location of those improvements, the classrooms, and some additional parking. Here we have a proposal for a new McDonald's. This would be brand new construction. This would be immediately south of the new 7-Eleven store at Sanderson and Stetson. This is a new concept for McDonald's. It's called On the Go. It's strictly order and come drive through and pick it up. There's no ordering at the drive-through window. It's pre-order and you drive through and pick it up. But this would be brand new construction. Then we have a proposal at 700 North Kirby Street. This is the Kirby Market. They are proposing to expand into the other suites of the building, which were formerly in automotive use. They'll be taking over all of those suites, and they will be applying for a Type 21 ABC license for off-sale alcohol sales. So there'll be some significant site improvements. There'll be some frontage dedication along both Kirby Street and the cross street there. And they're going to realign their parking in the front so it's not perpendicular to the building. It'll be angular with one-way drive-through exiting a little further from the intersection. So we're hoping this will alleviate some traffic congestion at that location and the proposed elevations. Next is a proposed medical office at 1709 West Florida Avenue. This would be adding an approximately 19,000 square foot structure on this location. And then here's the proposed site plan and the proposed elevations for the new building. We have another proposed commercial building to be located on Acacia Avenue, just east of the ARCO station at Acacia and Sanderson and across the street from Lowe's. Here's what the site plan would look like with conceptual elevations. This would be a proposed multi-tenant building. We have an existing structure that's been vacant for some time. This is a former skilled nursing facility. An applicant is interested in reopening. There are some on-site issues related to access, fire safety, and suppression. So we are working with the applicant to resolve those issues. We have a proposed expansion at the ARCO AM/PM Market located at State Street and Menlo. There's a proposal to expand the existing canopy and add 2 new pumps. The 2 pumps would be for renewable diesel and flex fuel. They're also proposing an addition of a small quick-serve store, which would be located south of the existing convenience market. We have a request from Palm Valley Mobile for a liquor license. They're requesting a Type 20 ABC license for off-sale beer and wine only. This would be within the convenience market. So they've provided a site plan and a floor plan of where those proposed sales might take place. Here we have a proposal for a food commissary. Food trucks and ice cream trucks are required by state law to restock at a commissary and their vehicles to be parked at a commissary. We have several food trucks and ice cream trucks that operate in Hemet. We currently do not have a commissary. So by attaining one, we could retain some of those sales tax revenues that are being lost to other cities. So there was one at this location once before. We're hopeful that a use like this could come in and repurpose this building. Here we have a rebrand and a remodel of the existing mobile at Sanderson and Florida Avenue. The proposal here is to remove the standalone car wash structure and replace that with a 7-Eleven convenience market. They will leave the canopy, but they will remove the market and add some additional fuel pumps. Another application that we're working on as a pre-application is the grocery outlet on West Florida Avenue. Has a request in for a Type 20 off-sale beer and wine ABC license. They've just provided us with the site plan. They have not yet provided us with a floor plan of where they intend to stock that. In terms of some of the industrial projects we're processing, there is an administrative use permit for Dosner Organic Farms. They grow herbs and like the stuff that you buy prepackaged in the grocery stores, but they're fresh. And they are moving their facility here to Hemet, and they're going to they propose to repurpose a former religious institution site. Before that, it was an athletic club. Before that, it was a religious institution site. It's gone through a number of uses. They're also proposing to do site improvements to the vacant parcel to the east. Then the biggie, the Simpson Warehouse project. This one, they've proposed to modify their proposal. This is scheduled to go forth to City Council most likely in August. There's talk about a special City Council meeting, possibly in July. That has not yet been set. The proposal is to remove the second of the smaller of the two buildings, leave the original building, and eliminate the trailer parking and the other uses on site, so the other two parcels would be used for other purposes at a later date. Here we have the Hemet Industrial Complex project. This is located east of Sanderson and south of Acacia. So this is in the area where the Kirby warehouse is currently built. In the rendering, the large vacant area is the Kirby warehouse. This would be 4 buildings totaling approximately 2.2 million square feet. Here we have the Hemet Logistics West project. This is located to the east of the lakes at Hemet West. The proposal is for 4 industrial buildings, totaling 2.6 million square feet. Here's the site plan, and this is the elevations for 1 of 4 buildings, but the architectural style for all 4 buildings is very similar. This is a proposal for a warehouse on Santa Fe Avenue. This would be west of Santa Fe Street and south of Oakland. New construction of a 359,000 square foot logistics building. So here we have a colored site plan that shows the landscaping as well as the colored elevations. And last for this evening, we have a mixed-use project proposal for the Hemet Stock Farm. It's approximately a 40-acre site. This would require a planned community development application be submitted, along with a tentative parcel map and architectural review for the proposed buildings. They're proposing approximately 200 total units, 179 single-family homes, 29 apartment or townhome-style apartments over ground floor commercial facing State Street, a hotel complex, and preservation of all the existing structures on site. In terms of the California Environmental Quality Act, the information I provided to you this evening does not considered a project under CEQA, therefore no action is required. It is therefore respectfully recommended that the Planning Commission receive the information presented to you this evening. If you have any clarifying questions, I'd be happy to answer those. And at the next regular Planning Commission meeting, I will go through the residential projects that we currently have in-house that we are working on. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much for that presentation, because we've all been curious of what's coming down the tubes, and this really gives us a better insight. We'll start with Commissioner Worth on that side. Do you have any questions for Deputy Director Papp?
Yeah, thank you. There's a lot of stuff. Any kind of window of just like that's a lot of projects.
Yes.
What kind of a time frame do we have any sense of that? Is this like a 2-year window, 3-year window?
Many of the projects I presented to you this evening are going to come to this commission before the end of the year. I would say at least half of them. Some of them, there's still quite a bit of work to do with the environmental documents, so they may take a while longer. Some of the residential projects that we didn't get to this evening, many of those are far along in the process. Many of them are just starting. So I would say we're going to keep you busy.
I did have a question on the commissary. You made a comment about how by establishing that allows the city to capture some of the taxes that these food trucks, the revenue from taxes that are otherwise going to other cities.
Yes.
Does that? I've been in a couple of restaurants, and the owner and I've gotten some feedback about some kind of frustration with the food trucks and being able to move around and not having to deal with the same things that some of the brick and mortar stores are. Is there like some level by having that commissary and being able to collect taxes, does that help kind of with some level of equity in terms, I don't want to say that's the wrong term, but fair share in terms of tax burden for food trucks versus the brick and mortar stores?
I understand where you're going with that. The state of California has allowed food trucks, as long as they get all of their required food handling permits and their business name permits, their business license with the city, they are allowed to operate. Now, by having a food commissary, what happens is they are required by state law to clean their food trucks every evening. They have to have a place to do that. They have to have a place where it's safe to do that. And they have to have a place where they can restock. So right now, any food trucks or ice cream trucks or anything like that might be operating in the city limits, if they are restocking elsewhere, we're losing those potential tax dollars. So they're going to be operating here whether they have a commissary here or not. But if we can restock their trucks here, then we can recapture some of that sales tax revenue that we're losing to other jurisdictions.
Yeah, that sounds like a great benefit. And then the only other just kind of general comment is, man, there's a lot of warehouses. I really appreciate this presentation, and I hope that people are able to see it and just kind of see what's coming down the pike in terms of just the amount of square footage that's being planned throughout the city in different areas, and it's very significant. So thank you for the update. That's all I have.
You're welcome, sir.
It wasn't on the presentation, but do we have an update on when the Kirby warehouse will open?
I believe they are looking at being able to achieve a temporary certificate of occupancy sometime the end of July, possibly early August, but they won't get their full certificate of occupancy until they've completed all of the road. There's some issues with Whittier going out and connecting to Sanderson with the Riverside County Flood Control and Water Conservation District about tying in their drainage line into that line. So they're probably going to open with a half street width on Whittier, and then they'll be able to get their full certificate of occupancy once all of the roadway improvements to Whittier are completed.
Gotcha. Now, you might not be able to answer this, but are they going to do anything about the power lines that go right over Whittier? Those things hang pretty low already.
I'm
No,
not
yeah,
certain about
it's
that.
okay.
We'd have to check with our city engineer, deputy city
Gotcha.
engineer. Perhaps our city engineer might be able to answer that for you. Power lines over Whittier?
They just seem low. They might not be as low, but they just look like they hang a little low.
I think 15 feet 8 would be the minimum clearance.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Papp, thank you for that.
You're welcome, sir.
So I only have one question for you. I know you can't talk about all these, but the McDonald's thing is kind of interesting. I'm just kind of wondering, are you seeing any more of that trend anywhere else in the city or even outside the city?
Not yet. We have not, but we've through this process, through this application, we've researched some other types of quick serve restaurants for their model, and yes, there is a trend, at least in California, for this type of service. More and more people are ordering food through their phone apps because they get discounts for using their phone app instead of having to rely on workers to take their order. It's quicker, it's more convenient. You place your order, it's probably ready for you by the time you come pick it up. So it's designed to reduce wait times in line, which also helps with greenhouse gas emissions and things like that. So we do think that there's a positive benefit to this type of use.
Interesting, thank you.
Even though they're back on the Kirby project, even though it's not a full CO, you said it's a partial CO, the semi trucks will still be using the new Whittier Road to use that exit and entrance route.
That is correct.
They're not using Kirby at all. On the coming warehouses, do you know, are they all distribution centers or any of them manufacturing?
Don't believe any of them are manufacturing, but in some cases, we're not sure who the tenants are, but they are deemed logistics facilities, not manufacturing.
Oh. And then the last question is, the Simpson project one, if I recall, and I know there's a public hearing coming up in July or August, I was mentioned, for the Newland Simpson project, but it's gonna completely bypass planning commission, go straight to council, or can planning commission review because it's been completely redrawn?
Well, because the planning commission already recommended a denial of the project and the city council recommended denial of the project. However, they did allow for the applicant to present their new proposal. We're not sure what direction the city council will take at that meeting after they've received and heard the report and seen the new. What I showed you was conceptual. It's not fixed in stone. They could potentially remand it back to the planning commission, or they could take action that evening. We're not certain yet.
Well, I hope we can review it. Other than that, I don't have any other questions for you, Deputy Director. Any final other questions? All
I
right,
agree with you, Chair.
All right. Well, with that, we received your presentation, and thank you so much for that.
And stay tuned for part 2.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 7A, which is the proposed capital improvement program 2025 update. Director Noah. Is it Raul?
Yes, it's Rao.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, Chair,
I always say
Commissioners.
Noah, so I just-
Noah Rao, Public Works Director. I'll be presenting you with our annual update to the city's 5-year capital improvement program. There we go. It's up. All right, the first slide here is a summary of what updates have been made this year. We had 20 projects that were completed and removed. 2 projects were otherwise removed. 4 modifications to existing carryover projects. We have 6 projects added since the last update. And then 7 new project requests. In this one, 6 of those are to be funded in the current fiscal year starting July 1st, and one of them is projected for the last year of the program in fiscal year 29 and 30. So that leaves us with a total of 58 projects that were carried forward, 6 new current requests, 23 projected into future years of the 5-year program, and that totals 93 projects in all. So the next 2 slides are a list of the 20 completed projects. So there's 10 on this slide. I will spare you with reading them all off, but we do celebrate their completion. We're excited that we were able to get 20 done this year. I think it was only about 14 last year, so we are making progress. And if you see any on these that you have any questions, feel free to ask at the end or now. This is the next 10 that were completed. I'll just give you a couple moments to look through them. There are quite a few paving projects, but a lot of other facility type improvements as well.
What's traffic calming?
That was in the Stony Mountain community. We had a project come forward where we installed speed humps.
Oh, speed humps.
Yes.
Oh. All right.
That's a nice way to put, suspension reestablishment, or.
All right, I'll move on. So these were the two projects that were not completed but removed. The first project, CIP 5766, the funds that were allocated to that were moved to a couple of other projects that were awarded that were underfunded. And there were no locations assigned to that project yet, so we've just eliminated it. Those funds went to CIP 5507, which is the State Street pipeline project, and to 5717, which is our treatment plant for wells 15 and 16. CIP 2418 was also removed. We ended up being able to just in-house remove the old non-compliant enclosure, trash enclosure on Front Street. And it was decided that we won't be reconstructing that one until we have some sort of an agreement in place with all the surrounding property owners. So right now it's being removed from the program. These are 4 of the projects that were revised in this update. The first two, CIPs 5656 and 5659, had no change to the scope, but as we do the design, there are needing increased allocation of funds. These had been sitting on the shelf for a while, and the cost estimates that were from many years ago are no longer valid, and so to meet today's construction prices, we're increasing 5656 by 600,000 and 5659 by 650,000. The third project, 5733, had some added scope, and that's for Fire Station 3 improvements. There's some improvements both on the interior and exterior that were added, and it's receiving an additional 120,000 in funding. The last one, CIP 5767, we are in design on that project, and we're just making it one larger project. Instead of allocating 1.5 million to a new project this year, we're just adding that 1.5 million and making that a $3 million sewer main replacement project. All right, moving on to other projects added since the last update was adopted. These were some one-off projects added to the program during the year. CIP 2419, the city received a formula grant from the Department of Energy, and we've got a project to do an LED retrofit and replace some of the HVAC units at the Simpson Center. CIP 2421 is for the Warren Road widening improvements and realignment from Dominigoni to Esplanade. The city's entered into a funding agreement with WRCOG for TUMP funds. So the environmental and design is underway on that. CIP 2422 is a facility necessity to replace some failing HVAC units at the Covell building. And CIP 2423 was a project authorized by the council to beautify the medians in the Sierra Dawn South community. And it also involves an agreement with the HOA where they're contributing to those costs as well. These are the final two projects that have been added to the program. CIP 2510 is for a Diamond Valley Lake soccer facility. This is something that Public Works Engineering has designed in-house. We're coordinating with Valley-Wide Recreation and Parks District on that. Now that we have a design, we'll be chasing funding. So we have made a request for a communities project with Congressman Calvert's office this year. I don't know if that'll receive funding, but we have a lot of other ideas that we'll be looking for funding for that project. So it's not receiving any allocation this year, but we will be hopefully receiving some in the near future. CIP 2512 is the reimagining and redesign of Weston Park. So we are hiring a consultant to come in and do a lot of public engagement and come up with a new conceptual design for the whole park. I'm sure you'll be a part of that process in the near future. So this slide starts projects that are to receive funding in the current CIP update. These three were already projected in the future years in the currently adopted version. And these are all, these three are pavement rehab and maintenance projects. The first one here was also projected in the current adopted program. This is to do a new pavement survey and condition assessment on all of the city streets. This is crucial for us to complete our 20-year street improvement strategy. The second project here is a brand new one. This is going to be to coordinate the corridor from Dominigoni on State Street from Dominigoni to Stetson. So there's 4 traffic signals there that don't currently talk to each other, and we're going to try to get them coordinated. And it's a very heavily traveled corridor with like 24,000 vehicles per day. So I think that'll have a very positive impact.
Thank you.
We've got a new project for HVAC upgrades at multiple city facilities. This is going to be a phased project over all 5 years of the current 5-year program. It's requesting $60,000 each year to, in phases, replace the aged HVAC units that are nearing the end of their life, and their Freon is obsolete in the state. So. The second project here is to install backup power generators at some of our critical water infrastructure facilities. It'll also be phased, so the current year we're going to be looking at installing the generators at wells 2A and 10A, and more facilities will come in future years. This slide contains 3 projects of much needed stormwater facility improvements and are all new project requests in this program update. The first one is the Salt Creek improvements from approximately Costin to Lyon. This will provide maintenance access roads and restore its capacity to what it was originally designed for. And we're hopefully working with flood control, and they may accept this after we get this back into proper condition to take over for maintenance. The next one, the Seattle Basin pumping improvements, will make the interim facility more efficient during larger rain events. Currently, we're having to pump stormwater across Costin to a pond for the capacity, and then we'll have to pump it back in the weeks after to dewater that pond. So we're looking at getting some larger pumps and increasing the pipe sizes that goes up Costin to Menlo and then west, so that we can just pump more all at once rather than pumping it into a pond and then emptying the pond later. The Costin Easton Basin, this is to replace a failed pump, modify the electric panel, upgrade the control system, and then also repair the suction piping to make that basin function as intended again. And the last new request is the one that's projected for fiscal year 2030, and this is rehab of well 2A. It was last rehabbed, I believe, in 2022, so it'll be due again for a rehab in 29 and 30. All right, here's a breakdown of the funding requests in this year's program update. This includes additional amounts requested for the existing underfunded projects and new projects. So it's applied overall to 16 projects that include both new adds to this year's update and previously projected projects and modifications to existing. So it's across 8 funding sources, and it totals just over $9.3 million. All right, so it's my recommendation that the Planning Commission receive the presentation of this 2025 annual update to the 5-year capital improvement program. Recommend the proposed 2025 annual update to the City Council, and find that the proposed 2025 annual update to the program be in conformance with the Hemet General Plan. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions that you might have.
All right, thank you for that presentation, Director Noah. Does the commission have questions for Deputy Director?
Couple questions, well, a couple comments and questions. First off, on McSweeney Parkway, I just want to kudos to the city on getting that done following the completion of the bridge and all the other elements that were part of that project, and I understand the complexity of working with Raintree and others. So it's really great to see that complete, the landscape done. It's really nice. The Diamond Valley Lake soccer fields. So is this going to be a valley-wide maintained?
It's
side,
going
or
to
is
end
this-
up, we'll end up having probably an agreement as imagined between the city and Valleywide, but Valleywide has the lease of that land with
Yeah.
MWD, so there has to be a partnership, and we look forward to that partnership and having a nice soccer facility.
Yeah, that is great, and that supports that whole East Diamond Valley recreational area. Has that been presented to? And I forget the name of the committee, but the East Diamond Valley Recreational.
It's
Committee.
been mentioned, I think, in one of the meetings, but I don't think we've had the design to actually present
Gotcha.
the concept yet.
I would make a recommendation maybe to reach out to EMWD on that, and there may be some opportunities there to kind of help partner on that. Seattle Basin with those pumps. So you said that will pump the flow up Costin, I'm assuming, to Cottonwood.
It's to Menlo, actually, and then it goes west.
So ultimately, is that going to end up at the intersection of Cottonwood and Warren?
No,
Where
it
we-
ends up coming back south again a little bit as it kind of goes down Rose Road and kind of around that corner.
Oh, there's a lot of.
I mean, the ultimate
challenges.
solution is, of course, the master drainage facility Line C. That
Right.
is in design. Unfortunately, we won't be able to construct it until it has an outlet, and so the developer
Yeah.
needs to construct the Ramona Creek Basin. And until that happens, we're going to still be in this interim situation.
Yeah, that kind of lends it to my Salt Creek comment, and just in terms of the best of luck to city staff on getting flood control to take over ownership and maintenance, and hopefully they can spend maybe there's some opportunities to partner also with the city of San Jacinto. I know there's some challenges going on right now with flood control, city of San Jacinto, and development projects. The same, the Line E, the Line G3, all of those areas that are just doesn't seem to be a implementation plan to address stormwater in the San Jacinto Hemet Valley, and maybe there's a need to partner with both the city of San Jacinto as well as Eastern Mississippi Water District, because there's a lot of impacts to their facilities as well in that area. Does the Warren Road project, does that include the bridge over Salt Creek?
It does. So the design is including the bridge. The funding that is available for the bridge through TUMF and WRCOG isn't very much. So that will be, not likely one of the first segments to be constructed. But yes.
Yeah, maybe there's an opportunity there for the development in that area to help contribute to some of those improvements.
Absolutely.
And then on the State Street signal coordination, all I can say is thank you, especially at the intersection of McSweeney Parkway and State Street. Full disclosure, I had the opportunity to meet a Hemet Police Department or a Hemet police officer as a result of being frustrated with that signal. He wrote me his nice autograph. But I'll be glad when that is addressed. But thank you so much for the update. A lot of projects going on, and that's really cool to see. That's all I have.
Thank you.
All right, I got a couple of things here. So CIP 5661, it is a main water replacement. Is that needed because of the warehouse that's planning to go in there?
No, that's to replace, it's going to replace an existing line that is not in good condition.
Okay.
We've had to make several repairs to it, and it will increase some capacity, but it's mainly because it's a failing line.
Okay. Are the soccer fields going to be turf or grass?
We're looking at turf as the best option for that.
Okay.
And
Nice. I saw 2424 funds appropriated were $50,000 to paint City Hall.
yes.
Can we get other quotes? That just seems a little high.
The actual paint, I think it was around 40, and we
Whoa.
went out for bids for that.
Okay.
And then the other 10 is actually allocated to replacing the time and temp displays in both directions. in
Gotcha.
City Hall.
Gotcha. And are we prioritizing any of these projects? Like, do we have like?
Continually, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then I guess the last one is so I was looking at 2421. That's that Simpson Road one where the widening of the bridge.
Mhm.
I do believe that if we move forward with the warehouse project, that they should definitely pay their fair share because it's estimated it's $4.1 million for the bridge expansion. So I do think maybe that warehouse, if it's approved, should be able to help us out there somehow. Maybe.
I agree. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not really my decision,
Gotcha.
but certainly
Just
I
want to bring it up. All right.
noted.
Cool. Thank you.
Director Noah, thank you.
Yes.
So my question relies on is concerning the water main replacements. It looks like, I went through this report here, and it looks like most of the water main replacements are congruent, and it starts here and ends here, except for this one that I'm looking at, project number 5657. It's a water replacement for Alley 1, Ramona, Alessandro, Inez, Elmwood, Carmelita, Juanita, Alley 2. I mean, it's very disjunctioned. It's just disparate water main replacements around. My question is how do you come up with that? And when those are done, does it put more stress on the lines that have not been replaced in between?
No, so these are a series of smaller 4-inch lines that need to be increased in size.
Yeah.
And in order to even put in fire hydrants and have enough fire flow that's needed in those areas. And so that's the main intent of those projects, is to increase those 4-inch sizes and have enough flow for fire services.
Okay. So 4-inch, you're not concerned about 4-inch?
They need to be increased to the 8-inch. Yeah.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
That is the project.
You're
for
going
that.
from 4 to 8?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, what about where it starts and stops? Does it continue on to
So
the
those are
the other
those
lines,
are,
or is it?
those are tying into existing like 8 or larger existing pipelines.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Just more than anything, reviewing the CIP report, one thing I would like to see in some of these projects, because reviewing them year after year after year, there's some that just seem like it's been there, but nothing's been done. And so something I would like to see in the CIP reports is kind of like maybe a phase system where the severity of, is this project still just in discussion? Is in the works? Is it going to be in construction? So we kind of have a better idea as to when these projects will be coming down the tubes, when they'll be done. One of them particularly near my residence is the 5764, which is that little stretch of road from basically Buena Vista to Santa Fe on Stetson that keeps getting repatched and repatched and repatched. And I've seen that on the CIP for several years, a few years now, and it's still
CIP 5764.
5764.
That's been awarded. We do have a construction contract for that project.
Okay, so but
so-
it doesn't say anything here that it's been rewarded. It's the same thing I saw last time. Well, just the
I
amount's
think
changing.
yeah, hopefully I did update it to go from, it was in design or whatever, or planning before, and it should show, construction at this point on
Okay.
on the sheet.
Yeah, that was just something to see, that we can see like in the phase, like it's in production now, it's in the construction. And something to add to, I know the skate park, you mentioned the lighting that you're gonna be putting in the skate park. And I know they wanna get the skate park more involved. Do you know if they're planning on expanding that skate park?
There's been, we've definitely been talking about maybe a pump track that goes around it, but I don't think the skate park itself we don't have plans to expand that.
Because I know everything costs money, but I know, like, why wouldn't, as a suggestion, add 2 more streetlights to the grassy area next to the skate park? So when they do these events that they've been doing, that go into the evenings and nights, at least they can do more activities when it's dark and have that grass area lit up as well. And if they do expand, the lights are already there. And but just an idea. But other than that, I don't have any other questions. They kind of asked them as well. But I just would like to somewhat see like a phase of these different projects and where they're at along the way.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have a comment. You know, you brought up the skate park, right? And we just had didn't we just have a tournament out there with the skate park?
We did, yeah. We had
Yes.
folks from all over the world.
Yeah. I mean, this looks like something that we could expand on and really, put us on the map. Maybe even ESPN out here for their X Games and
I
stuff
agree,
like that.
yes.
It's actually an Olympic sport, isn't it?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, this would be a great way to put us on the map.
I agree.
Hold these tournaments and, make some money.
I think if we lit up more of the area, we can do night events and have, set up canopy, different vendors and stuff like that, instead of just them in the dark and the skate park's lit up kind of thing. But,
Yeah, I like your idea.
Maybe we could get Tony Hawk out there with his Coke.
There you
his
go.
Coke U10.
Yeah.
I do have a comment, if it's all right. On the soccer park, I would suggest that the city looks versus the artificial turf. Maybe evaluate using grass out there. There is, I believe there's recycled water available, and with turf you have to use potable water for cooling. There's a higher heat retention. I think it would be worth at least that's maybe one of the discussions you can have with Eastern.
Certainly will. Yeah, I know. We've met with a lot of the soccer folks, and they've pushed the artificial turf pretty hard. But I do hear, kind of both sides. So that's something we can certainly investigate further.
Going back to the skate park, it says you're going to add a sail for shade. Is that going to be fabric or a structure, like a patio?
It is going to be a sail.
A sail, so
Yep.
fabric.
It's been awarded. It should have already been installed, but
Gotcha.
the parts for it were delayed, and so I believe they'll be delivered at the end of this month.
Okay.
just one more thing to expand on the phase that I mentioned is also, like I'm looking at this one here, is there a way you can also flag those projects that are contingent based upon grants or partnership contributions that necessarily are, it just is hearsay at this moment. If they don't pay, then it's not going to happen. But instead of putting it in here, but they just put what it is, but we don't know if it's a done deal or if it's we're applying and we're waiting to see what happens kind of thing.
Yeah, one way that you can tell on that is if it has, money allocated to it or not. If it shows, projected, we hope money, and it has nothing currently appropriated, you can tell that it's not, active until it gets funded.
All right, I don't have any other questions. Any other questions? And with that, we're make a motion.
Is there a motion here?
Just propose annual 25-5-year, recommend the proposed 25 annual update to 5-year, and find the proposed 25 annual update be in conformance with the Hemet Journal Plan. So there's no motion needed?
You could.
File and receive?
You could make a motion and have everyone agree to it.
Okay, I think we should make a motion, just have everybody agree to the project.
I'd like to make a motion that we did review the 5-year capital improvement program. Motion to recommend this update to the City Council, and then find that this improvement program is in conformance with the Hemet General Plan.
I'll second.
Commissioners, please announce your vote. Commissioner Worth?
Aye.
Commissioner Viramontes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Yes, thank you, Director Noah.
Thank you, Commissioners.
And the motion passes 4-0.
Okay, agenda item 8A is a conditional use permit and public convenience for necessity for El Sorrento Corner. Assistant Planner Jordan Walton.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Jordan Walton, Assistant Planner with the Community Development Department. Tonight for your consideration is Conditional Use Permit 25-002 and Public Convenience or Necessity 25-001. The applicant for this project is El Centro Corner Incorporated. The applicant is requesting Type 20 off-sale beer and wine ABC license and findings of public convenience or necessity to allow beer and wine sales at an existing gas station with a convenience store. The convenience store is currently being operated by Shondi Oil. The Planning Commission is responsible for reviewing requests for sale of alcohol beverages for off-site consumption. Additionally, the Hemet Municipal Code states that the Planning Commission shall make a decision of public convenience or necessity. The site was previously approved for a Type 20 off-sale beer and wine license that expired February 28th, 2025. The owner must receive a CUP approval by the Planning Commission as required by the Hemet Municipal Code to request approval of the Type 20 license. And a public convenience or necessity is required when there is a overconcentration of ABC licenses in a census tract. Overconcentration is generally defined as more alcohol licenses existing within a census tract boundary than what would typically be allowed for that census tract. And this project aligns with Goal 2, economic opportunity, and opportunity and objective 2. So this site is located in Census Tract 435.19, which according to the latest ABC report allows for 0 off-sale licenses. Currently, there are 2 active off-sale licenses in the Census Tract. The California Department of Alcohol Beverage Control that reported that the Census Tract is overconcentrated and that a public convenience or necessity determination is required for this project. Here's a aerial view of the project. Surrounding land uses include the Hemet Auto Mall to the south and the east, as well as vacant land to the north and the west. And then the subject property is designated community commercial in the City of Hemet general plan. The subject property is zoned Hemet Auto Mall, defined as Area C, and the Hemet Mall Auto Mall specific plan. And then here's a site plan of the proposal for the location. The site is currently developed with curb, gutter, sidewalk, and parking. The site includes fuel canopies, a car wash, and a convenience store that is open Monday through Sunday, 24 hours a day, with 10 to 12 employees. And then here's a floor plan for the project site. The floor plan also identifies areas that will be used for storage and display of beer and wine. And this application was also submitted to ABC pending approval of a conditional use permit and a public convenience or necessity. Section 90-90C requires a conditional use permit for the sale of alcohol beverages for an on-site and off-site consumption. The Planning Commission must also consider findings for alcohol sales and public convenience or necessity findings. Staff believes that the convenience store would have continued to operate with a Type 20 off-sale license had it not been for the time it took for the new owners, being El Centro Corner Incorporated, to require the business. Records indicate that this location has not had substantial calls for service from the police department within the past year, and the Hemet Police Department does not have any issues with this type of license at this location. Conditions of approval are also being added as well for the operator to maintain the performance standards which were improved by the City Council in 2022, which apply to businesses engaged in alcohol sales as well as tobacco sales. Those performance standards address things like public consumption, open containers, loitering, lighting, security and surveillance, graffiti, displays and signs, litter, and ABC training. The conditional use permit is exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, as this is an existing facility, and the applicant is proposing no physical expansion of the building or the site. And then on June 2nd, 2025, the city gave public notice by advertising in the press interface, as well as mailing to property owners and tenants within a 500-foot radius. So it is respectfully recommended that the Planning Commission approve conditional use permit 25-002 and make a determination of public convenience or necessity and direct staff to file a notice of exemption with the county clerk for CEQA purposes. And I'm available to take any questions, and the applicant is here to answer any questions as well.
All right, well, thank you for that presentation, Assistant Planner Walton. Commissioners, any questions?
Just kind of on the ABCs, the census tracts. The census, it says there can be 0 at this point. Is that, and I didn't see in the report, what's the boundary of that census tract? I mean, everything is vacant to the west, and how's that determined?
Yeah, so the census tract is done about every 10 years at the beginning of each decade. So the last census tract was done in about 2020, and depending on that census tract, different boundaries could change. In this case, I didn't include it in the staff report, but it is in census tract 435.19, which has not changed within the past 20 years. The census tract boundary covers the southern portion as well as the north and the easterly portions, and then directly to the west is another census tract.
So it's based. So the number of allowable ABC licenses is based on population within that census tract?
Correct. In
And
this
so-
case, the staff report identified that there are about 900 population is about 900 in this case, and the authorization form that I had showed on a slide that shows 0 here is pretty much a recommendation from the ABC. For example, if there was the population was increased and they allowed 3 instead of, you see 0 here, there would be 3 licenses allowed without the need for a public convenience and necessity.
Mhm.
In this case, since there's a low population in the census tract, it's 0. So any proposal for a liquor license within the census tract, as it is right now, it could change in the future depending if the population increases. But as of today, any proposal would need a public convenience and necessity.
So I mean, it's just it looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like the 0 licenses is based on the fact that there's a lot of vacant land within this census tract and a low population. However, it's at a very, very busy intersection with a lot of traffic, and so it makes sense that you would have a need for public access.
Correct. Yes. So we, in the staff report, particularly to conditional use permit findings, number 3, which talks about consistency with the general plan, it's identified that this is a major corridor for entrance and exit out of the city. So that's another point as support of the application,
Sure.
as it's a main entrance and exit to the city.
And it was previously licensed, and then one of the new conditions is not to be able to not sell single serving. So it's I don't have any concerns with it. My one thing I thought was interesting was that the concentration of police callouts increased when they stopped selling.
Yeah.
It's like maybe they need to sell more. But anyways, I have no other comments or questions. Thank you.
So real quick, can you pull up that store layout? Because on the staff report number 7, there shall be no interior displays of alcoholic beverages that can be visible from the outside. I see right there it says beer display, almost near the front entrance. Is that going to stay there? On the left-hand side, there's a square. It says beer display, right? Oh, here. Well, this thing doesn't.
Yep.
It's like a.
Let's
You can see from here.
There it is.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. The applicant will
Right there.
address that question.
Okay.
That's inside the store? Oh,
Can you
sorry.
please approach the podium?
That would be a floor
Oh,
beer.
I'm sorry, we have to open up public hearing now.
Oh,
so
sorry.
we're-
Wait, they're gonna do staff first. That's all right. Let you finish.
Sorry.
Well, we'll close the public hearing, we'll have the applicant answer that when we're
Gotcha. Okay.
done with the staff.
All right. Then I could wait.
Any
We're
other
good.
questions
Yeah,
for
yeah,
staff?
we're good.
Mr. Walton, thank you for that. When you put out the public hearing notice, did you get any feedback whatsoever?
We received no correspondence.
Nothing.
No, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I really don't have any questions because it was an existing type 20 and due to time constraints, they had to reapply, correct?
Correct. They had operated this, the location, I mean, not the owners, the location had ABC license from at least June of 2000.
Okay. And him at PD is okay with it as well?
That's correct.
All right. And with that, I don't think we have any other questions for staff. Thank you. All right. And with that, we're going to go ahead and open up public hearing, and we'll ask the applicant to approach the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, for having us here tonight. My name is Tony Maryhue, and I'm the CFO for Chandi Group USA. We're located in the Coachella Valley, and we provide management services to the multiple businesses that Mr. Chandi and his business partners have. I'm here on his behalf tonight, and with me is one of his business partners, Mr. Rajesh Verma, who is one of the owners also. One thing that we would like to comment on, and I want to give you just a little bit of background because it is important. We've gone over the proposed conditions of approval and accept everything. The city has asked us to make some changes to the trash enclosure area, and that's fine. To do something with the landscaping, although that hasn't been specified exactly what, but I'm assuming it's just standards. One of the conditions, and Commissioner Worth mentioned it, is the singles. And the site previously did not have that restriction, nor does the Circle K that's nearly across the street, as I was pulling up some of those ABC licenses. And we'd like to respectfully request that you reconsider that particular condition. There are a couple of different reasons. But first, I want to give you a little background on us acquiring the site. The previous owner was in a financial conflict. The operator was leasing from somebody else that owned the property, and basically he got foreclosed on. Long story short, I won't bore you with all the details, but he was a very disgruntled tenant when he left the property last fall. Doing things that you can only imagine, things like pouring concrete down the plumbing lines, disconnecting all the fuel lines, pulling out dispensers, and basically almost gutting all of the equipment inside. I think they took the HVAC units, really did a lot of damage in the store. And that's what delayed our process in getting the ABC application in. We believe, and as staff pointed out, that had we been able to go through the typical process that we do when we acquire existing sites, would be to be able to transfer the existing ABC license with its conditions of approval intact. So with a little bit of a surprise, we found ourselves in a different position coming to the city with a new CUP. And Jordan and the rest of the team have been excellent to work with us, very patient through this process. We've been working with them for, I think, like 4 months, plus or minus. The selling of the singles is, it goes back to the nature of the convenience store. It's kind of the model of a convenience store. It's a quick stop. It's a convenience and a necessity for travelers as they're at the gas station. It's oftentimes, in our opinion, we find that it's an economical decision. For our customers that come in that are picking up a 12-pack or something, that's usually the weekend guys. They're coming home on a Friday night, or they run in over the weekend because it's faster than going to the grocery store. It's closer, it's easier, and offers pretty competitive prices. But the singles are more of a convenience. And we do appreciate that you would consider allowing that. Mr. Shandy and his business partners have multiple gas station and convenience stores throughout, mostly in the Coachella Valley, Inland Empire, throughout the state. Our employees are well trained. They are ABC trained and certified. Mr. Verma himself is here probably 5 days a week at the Hemet store, dropping in, checking on things personally, making sure that things are intact and safe. And we would like to have you reconsider that one item. If you have any other questions, you asked about the beer display, so thank you. If I could address that for you. That would be not visible from the store. I mean, looking in, it's kind of like if you go into the grocery store and they have kind of a floor display of the special of the week, is whether it's the Modelo's or whatever else, right in front of like the beer cave entry. So not signage or anything that would be prohibiting anybody seeing anything.
Gotcha. Okay. And the beer cave and those cold boxes, that's all going to have lock and key, right? Since you're open 24/7.
So you just
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
Nice.
They do that.
All right. Thank you.
I think it's certain hours that the conditions have for under lock.
2 to 6.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And with the public hearing being open, are there any members of the public present that wants to make a comment on this?
Chair Beamsterfer, I do not show anyone online requesting to speak, and I did not receive any e-comments.
All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing and ask for a motion or discussion.
Well, I wanted to ask the applicant something.
Oh, yeah. Oh. We'll have to reopen up the public hearing. Have you reapproach the podium, please? I apologize.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir, Mr. Hill.
So you are willing to live with all the conditions of approval and also the performance standards that Jordan put up there?
Yes, we've gone through those. I've gone through those with owners. They're not the same standards that are on all of the locations that we have, but they are standards that we absolutely can adhere to and already use at many of our sites. Our security surveillance is in place. We want good lighting for our employees as well. It's important. All the signs posting, the no loitering, the no consumption, we do that anywhere we have an ABC license. Well, no loitering, I think we do that everywhere, but yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to hear from staff on why there is that condition of approval for single can, for not selling single cans. What's the reason for that condition?
For security reasons, someone could come in for maybe perhaps with regards to alcohol sales is considered potentially encouraging alcohol consumption, and this would encourage someone to walk in that perhaps may be loitering outside and just go in to purchase a smaller can. And it is one of the conditions that the police department has also requested that we've had, and it's a condition that's carried forward in other conditional use permits for the alcohol sales. But it is up to the commission if they're okay with that, to have, to modify the condition. Staff would be supportive of that, at this location.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on that. I think the point of it already was there and there wasn't an issue. And it's just a matter of time as to, you know, so losing some level of profitability just because of the time delay and I personally agree myself. I don't go in there for a 12-pack. I will stop in on my way home for a small. So I'm in support of removing condition number 15. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's consistent with what was there. There wasn't a problem before, and it's just a matter of time and process as to why it's not there now.
Well, is this going to be a problem with the police department? Because the police department has already given their approval. You're saying that you're fine with it, Monique, right?
We would be supportive of it. It's also, you know, we also have to keep in mind too that the alcohol coolers, they shall be locked between the hours of 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. So there would be no purchase of alcoholic beverages during that time. And I think it would be good to clarify to the applicant what is the percentage that they're looking at. Perhaps, you know, having a certain percentage of that availability would be helpful to understand from the applicant's perspective. If that's going to be, you know, just a portion, just similar to other drinks for consumption. Water, soda, you know, is it going to be, you know, a certain percentage? If it's a small percentage and it's ancillary to the request, I don't see that it would be a problem in terms of approving the conditional use permit or also making a determination of public convenience or necessity, because that, in a sense, may be considered convenience as well, of being able to purchase a smaller container.
Yeah, I do think they might lose out on some revenue if they can go to the Circle K, you know, a minute down the road, compared to not being able to sell single cans. I mean, they might get a lot more loitering around there, but as long as that's taken care of, I mean, the previous tenant was allowed to sell single cans, so I don't see why we shouldn't remove that.
Is that something we can need to add the applicant if they would be agreeable to doing single cans, which I'm sure pretty sure they will, but.
Are agreeable to both, you know, that they would comply with that, but in a certain, you know, that they could have an ancillary, you know, portion of the convenience store offering smaller, you know, smaller container sizes, where it's not predominance, but it's just they're just offering it as an option to customers.
Is there a percentage? Is there some point that you can establish that, or is it just in terms of a general layout and intent?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, you know, I think at the end of the day, if it's not the primary source of the convenience, it sounds like, just from what I'm understanding, they are going to provide. They will provide 6-packs, but we should have the applicant speak on behalf, just to make sure that we're clear that they will not only, you know, they won't be offering only 40 ounces. That they will be, you know, offering more than that, and what are the options it's for beer and wine, so they'll be offering a variety of products.
In reference to the tall cans, I remember one project we would not allow, like, I know they come in 3-packs, and I know, if I recall right, on one of the projects, we did not allow them to sell them in 3-packs, only just individual. If we did allow them to do the individual, will that exclude the 3-packs? Because I know in like county areas, you can get a 3-pack of tall cans because they're all wrapped together. Is that something that we could add to it because they come in like 3-packs?
Yes.
Okay, so with that, we just need to open up public hearing and ask the applicant to approach the podium and just get the approval from the applicant if they would be willing to have single servings.
So yeah, let me, thank you, commissioners, and thank you for being willing to consider our request. Generally, the singles, if you picture the coolers, if you've gone into a grocery store or convenience store, the number of cooler doors, the display for the singles is typically limited to one door with the different varieties. So you have like the hard seltzers, I think like the White Claws and whatever different beers and some wines that are there. So pretty much one single. The beer cave itself has proven to be very, we have customers that really enjoy the beer caves because they know that they're going to get their beer very, very cold. That is for 12 packs and 18 packs, the much larger that customers pick up. Throughout the other cooler doors will be your 6 packs and the 3 packs. The 3 packs are typically like with the wine, sometimes the smaller little bottles. So it's not a lot, it's not a big percentage, but it is the convenience factor for the customers that are looking for that want to pick it up, and that's why we've requested that. Has that answered the question that you were asking, Monique? Okay, and commissioners?
Okay, any other questions for the applicant before we close public hearing?
No.
They're in favor of that? Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you very much. We'll go ahead and close public hearing.
I just have a general comment, and it just, I mean, this is the term is convenience. I think we need to have a little bit of a hard time like restricting this versus that versus it's what they had was fine. There was no issues. We have more police activity since they stopped selling than when they were selling. It makes me a little uneasy to say, well, you can sell this or you can't sell that. And I understand there's some probably some data to support some of that, but I think in this case there's some data to support that whatever they had before was working just fine. So I would my general thought is just simply removing condition 15, go back to what the ABC license was prior to the CUP. They're going to be making improvements to the site in terms of security, in terms of landscaping, in terms of other things. I think that's a benefit to the community, and it's a convenience as well. I'll be happy to make a motion.
I did.
Get to it. I'm sorry, I had
Oh,
to.
you close it, just in case.
I think I did. If I can find it, sorry. All right, I would like to make a motion that Planning Commission adopt Resolution Attachment Number 1 approving CUP 25-002, subject to the conditions of approval with the exception of removal of condition number 15 for the sale of single units, and to make a determination of public convenience or necessity and to direct staff to file a NOE with the county clerk for CEQA purposes.
I second that motion.
Commission, please announce your vote. Commissioner Worth?
Aye.
Commissioner Vermontes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
No.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Yes.
That motion carries 3-0-1.
Item 9A is the city attorney reports. City Attorney Leah Sawari.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just have a little update from Sacramento. So as you know, California's housing crunch legislatures have introduced a broad package of bills designed to cut through delays, especially those tied to CEQA. And one of those I wanted to share with you is AB 609, which was introduced earlier this year by Assemblymember Buffy Wicks and could mark an important turning point if passed. So essentially what it does is AB 609 proposes to eliminate CEQA review for infill housing, residential developments located within already urbanized areas that are not environmentally sensitive. So for example, wetlands or farmlands, agricultural. Under the proposal, qualifying projects would be shielded from CEQA lawsuits and the lengthy environmental review process, provided that they meet certain conditions such as being under 20 acres in size and not requiring zone variances. So a companion bill to this bill, AB 609, is SB 607, which was authored by Senator Scott Weiner, which complements AB 609 by exempting rezonings under the housing element from CEQA and narrowing the scope of environmental review when exemptions aren't available. So essentially, SB 607 aims to remove or reduce CEQA hurdles, specifically for zoning changes, making it easier to bring land in line with approved housing goals. Obviously, there are oppositions and concerns regarding this. So the status of this right now is that AB 609, it sailed through the Assembly with a unanimous vote on May 19th, 2025, and on May 20th was read into the Senate and referred to Senate rules, then to Senate Housing. SB 607, on the other hand, has advanced through Senate Environmental Quality, Local Government, and Appropriations, but as of recent, June 5th, 2025, it was placed on the Senate's inactive file, likely awaiting a spot to the state budget package. So together with AB 609 and SB 607, they both aim to streamline CEQA from both project approval and zoning angles, but for SB 607, passage may depend on the budget negotiations later this summer. So I will keep you updated on this.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Might as well be the planning commission.
Yeah, here it comes. It's been coming.
9B, Community Development Reports, Director Monique.
Nothing to report.
Okay. 9C, Future Agenda Items, Director Monique.
Yes, we have, coming forward, we have a conditional use permit for Lamperla Market, as well as Dosner Farms Packing House, coming to Planning Commission meeting soon. End of report.
All right. And item 9D, Planning Commissioner Reports.
Commissioner Worth?
I just want to, so I did have a meeting this week with Deputy Director Papp and Director Monique, and just want to thank you for your time. I appreciate that and look forward to more of those in the future.
Thank you. And if I may add to that, I just wanted to mention too, and maybe I can add it to the very end of the commissioner's report, but it's on the along the lines of meeting with the commission, with staff. We encourage a meeting with the planning commissioners, and we're going to make time available for all the planning commissioners to come in and have one-on-one time and talk about anything with regards to our planning commission agenda items and planning and zoning questions. Thank you. Commissioner Viramontes?
I have nothing to report.
Commissioner Hill?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Well, I think I have a ride-along scheduled for July with him at PD. I just read the email from Director Noah, so we'll pick a day to see Public Works and do a little tour. The Fraternity Order of Eagles had a fundraiser for him at K9. They raised over $2,500 for the new, the kitty, the new little puppy K9 they have. And they did a little show in the back of the parking lot, and its specialty is mainly looking for ammunition, bullets, and magazines and things like that. And he put it in one bunch of multiple boxes, and the dog just sniffed out the right box that he put it in. It was kind of cool to watch. And I guess the city council meeting, they have established a youth commission, and so they're going to be youth getting involved in the politics as well, and him, and that's I think it's a great idea. So There being no further business to discuss, this planning meeting is adjourned to the next planning commission meeting scheduled for July the 1st, 2025 at 6 p.m.